Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're discussing the potential further delay of Battlefield 2025. It could very well become Battlefield 2026. I'm not sure about you guys, you'll have to tell me in the comment section how you feel, but the potential for the next Battlefield game to be delayed even further kind of makes me nauseous. But we'll go through all of the potential benefits and negatives of it, and we're going to cover each and every single thing. So be sure to hit the like button. Thank you to everyone that does that on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you plan on following Delta Force and Battlefield games, because I also stream these games every single day over at twitch.tv/enders and on this YouTube channel because I do multi-stream. So be sure to catch the streams, ladies and gentlemen. I see a lot of first-time chats come in there, so thank you to anyone that's popped in the stream. So now then, the release date or release window of the next Battlefield game. Well, we were pretty much expecting it to release at the end of 2025. I think as of right now, that is still the window they are shooting for, that sort of October, November, December area of 2025. But they did state in comments made yesterday that EA's fiscal year for 2026 stretches all the way into April. So they have that big sort of buffer zone, if you will, of give or take, 3 months to decide when to release the game. But those of you with sharp memories will remember that this Battlefield game has technically already been delayed a full year. Battlefield 2042 released in 2021. And if this Battlefield game releases at the end of 2025, that would mean there is a 4-year gap between Battlefield releases. If this plays out this way, that would be the largest gap between Battlefield releases ever, if I'm not mistaken, and it would end the normal cycle of a 3-year gap. But with new comments today, there is unfortunately potential for EA to delay the next Battlefield game even further, and this is what they had to say. This is coming from Battlefield Bulletin. Quote, EA's boss isn't opposed to move new Battlefield's release window beyond fiscal year 2026 to account for, quote, nuanced year relative to competition. The competition they're referring to is undoubtedly the release of GTA 6, Doom the Dark Ages, Borderlands 4, and other major titles that are going to launch in 2025, right around the time Battlefield is probably going to launch. If I just had to take a wild guess, the people at EA are not happy that there are a ton of great games releasing within their release window, and they're kind of salty that a lot of their thunder is going to be stolen by these games. Because you talk about releases like GTA 6, I'm fully aware that the Battlefield player base isn't 100% overlapping with the GTA 6 player base, but there is no debate that GTA 6 is one of the biggest releases we will see in this decade. Combine that with the fact that there are other great FPS games releasing in this frame, such as Doom the Dark Ages and Borderlands 4, I just have to imagine that EA is not happy that there are so many other options other than Battlefield releasing in the same time period. But don't take it from me, take it directly from Andrew Wilson, who had this to say, quote, there may be some things happening in the year that may cause us to think differently about our launch timing, end quote. I think it's so funny that with this like EA corporate speak, oh, guys, there may potentially be some things happening that could potentially maybe sort of kinda make us think differently about our launch timing, aka there's a fucking gigantic game releasing called GTA 6. And it scares us, and we're getting cold feet, and we may have to delay the game just to get a sliver of attention. But that's not all Andrew Wilson had to say. He goes on to say this, quote, we have a fiscal year 2026 launch window that the team is targeting. We believe the game will be great and ready at this time. But if we got close to that time frame and believe that this wasn't going to be a great window for us, then we will take a look at what an alternative window might be that would give us an appropriate time, energy, and player acquisition opportunity for this Battlefield to be all that it needed to be. Now, allow me to decipher this corporate jargon into the most simplistic sentence that I could possibly construct. Basically, he's saying, we have a release date selected, but if we feel that we're going to get fucked up by these other games and it's going to screw the launch over, we reserve the right to basically delay the game further to make sure that we are the biggest game releasing at the time. And there are multiple reasons for this. Reason number one being money, of course. I think they're worried about releasing Battlefield against all these other massive titles that are coming out, even though this Battlefield commands a ton of attention in its own right. The second reason for them leaving the door open to potentially delay the next Battlefield game even further is I think EA and DICE and these other companies, they may have finally woken up to just how important this Battlefield game actually is, and just how important this first impression is for the Battlefield franchise. First impressions of games nowadays are everything. It doesn't matter if it's an alpha, doesn't matter if it's a beta. If your game is shit, people are going to clown you for it, and the masses will see that, and they will not play your game as a result of it. And me personally, I am on the side of them doing whatever it takes in order to make sure this Battlefield does not have a bad launch. However, if they do decide to delay this game for a second time, the wait will be felt by people. And I do think alongside that wait will come the disappointment of the wait. But at a certain point, I think people do have to understand just how important this game release is, not only for Battlefield, but for the general FPS market. This Battlefield release, guys, is the most important FPS release in recent memory, okay? This Battlefield, if it's good, could single-handedly take over the entire FPS space. I'm serious. It could be that massive. But let's think for a second. Let's say they do decide to actually delay the game past fiscal year 2026. That would mean that it's releasing sometime in 2026 after April. So you have May, June, July, all of it till the end of 2026. When would they decide to release the game? Are they going to choose the end of 2026? Or are they going to do like a weird mid-year 2026 release? It'll be the weirdest Battlefield release date of all time if they do decide to delay it again. But as Andrew Wilson did state, and please take everything Andrew Wilson says with a grain of salt, knowing he's the EA CEO, he's saying they are shooting for that end of year, sort of fiscal year 2026, which means end of 2025 release window. And he says the game should be great and ready to go by then. So let's keep our fingers crossed, I guess, that they don't need that extra time to release a great game, and we get it at the end of 2025, and everything is randomly hunky-dory. So definitely let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoy Battlefield or Delta Force, definitely follow my Twitch stream and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to hit the like button if you enjoy the content. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, all the stuff. And for people asking about fragrance videos, I just have to emphasize, sometimes when there's a bunch of news, sometimes when there's just a bunch of things going on in my life, I don't necessarily have a lot of free time at night to make videos, and that is when I would typically make those fragrance videos for the second channel. And yeah, I just haven't had much time. So I promise I will continue to make fragrance videos whenever I do have, an extended period of downtime in my life. But as of right now, I'm pretty busy, so keep an eye on the channel and turn notifications on if you are subscribed to my second channel so you don't miss an upload. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.
Screen cover! By the bullet, you'll be fine.